Have you ever noticed how some people don't argue? They don't explain. They don't ask for closure. They just leave. No long messages, no final conversation, no emotional cleanup. And somehow, that silence stays louder than any explanation ever could. This is the psychology of people who walk away without closure. And once you understand it, you'll realize something unsettling. They're not weak, they're not avoidant, and they're rarely confused. They're operating from a position most people never reach. Let's break it down. 1. They've already processed the ending internally. By the time they leave, the conversation already happened, just not with you. Psychologically, these individuals don't need external validation to reach emotional conclusions. They run internal simulations. They replay patterns. They track behavior, not promises. They notice inconsistencies, tone shifts, energy changes. While others are still asking, "What did I do wrong?" they're asking, "How long has this been wrong?" This aligns with high self-referential processing, a trait linked to emotional self-regulation and cognitive independence. By the time they walk away, they're not confused, they're done. Machiavelli hinted at this centuries ago. The prudent man does at once what the fool does finally. Closure for them isn't a conversation, it's a conclusion. 2. They understand that explanations don't change behavior. Most people chase closure because they believe words will repair emotional damage. But attentive observers learn something early. People reveal the truth through repetition, not apology. So instead of demanding explanations, they study outcomes. If respect disappears once, it can return. If it disappears repeatedly, it's a pattern. Psychologically, this reflects behavior-based attribution rather than intent-based attribution. They don't ask, "What did you mean?" They ask, "What did you do?" And when the answer keeps repeating itself, they stop negotiating with reality. Walking away without closure isn't emotional immaturity, it's behavioral realism. As Machiavelli warned, men are quicker to forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. Translation: emotions lie, patterns don't. 3. They know that closure often benefits the wrong person. This is the part people hate to admit. Closure conversations often serve the person who caused the damage. They offer relief. They reset guilt. They soften consequences. People who walk away without closure understand something uncomfortable. Not every ending deserves emotional comfort. Psychologically, this is boundary enforcement at an advanced level. They refuse to provide emotional labor to someone who already violated trust, consistency, or respect. Silence becomes a consequence. And silence is powerful because it removes feedback. In power psychology, feedback is currency. When you remove it, the other person is forced to sit with uncertainty. That uncertainty is not cruelty, it's accountability. The 48 laws of power touches this directly. Say less than necessary. Sometimes saying nothing is the loudest signal of all. 4. They are intolerant of false resolution. Many people accept closure that isn't real, just to reduce discomfort. A half apology, a vague explanation, a promise with no structure. People who walk away without closure can sense false resolution instantly. They know when a conversation exists to end tension, not fix the issue. Psychologically, this reflects high sensitivity to incongruence, when words and emotional tone don't match. Instead of feeling soothed by explanations, they feel insulted by them. So they disengage, because pretending something is resolved when it's not feels worse than leaving it unresolved. This is not avoidance, it's integrity. Machiavelli wrote, "Men should either be treated generously or destroyed because they take revenge for slight injuries." Walking away without closure avoids both extremes. No generosity, no revenge, just removal. 5. They understand the power of unanswered questions. Here's the part that makes this psychologically devastating. The human brain hates unfinished loops. It replays, it ruminates, it fills gaps with self-doubt. People who walk away without closure don't weaponize this consciously, but they understand it intuitively. They know that explaining themselves would give the other person peace. Silence forces reflection. Not closure seekers asking, why did they leave? But accountability seekers asking, what did I do that made them stop explaining? In behavioral psychology, this is called negative space learning, growth that occurs from absence, not instruction. Silence teaches better than speeches, and those who walk away understand that. 6. They prioritize self-respect over being understood. Most people would rather be understood than respected. People who walk away without closure choose the opposite. They accept that not everyone will understand their decision. They accept misinterpretation. They accept being labeled cold, distant, or unfair, because explaining themselves would require shrinking their standards to someone who already crossed them. Psychologically, this is high self-concept clarity. Their identity doesn't depend on external approval. They don't need to prove they're reasonable. They need to remain aligned with themselves. Machiavelli captured this ruthlessly. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Respect doesn't come from explanation. It comes from consistency. And walking away without closure is often the most consistent action left. 7. They know when a chapter ends, not when it pauses. This is the deepest distinction. Most people treat endings like negotiations. One more talk, one more chance, one more clarification. People who walk away without closure treat endings like facts. When something reaches its natural conclusion, they don't drag it forward out of fear. They don't dramatize it, they don't romanticize it, they close the door quietly and move on. Psychologically, this reflects emotional finality, the ability to release attachment without resentment. They don't need revenge, they don't need validation, they don't need to win. They need peace, and peace doesn't argue.